So, thank you, Mrs. Azlin, as our MC today. And in Malaysia now afternoon, and good afternoon, and good morning for maybe the some of our participants and speakers. So, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the organizer, Angkasa, and ICAAP uh, Committee on Education Institution, I would like to welcome all participants to this special event, the webinar on youth engagement through entrepreneurship. So actually, the decision to call this webinar was made in the ICEI committee meeting held in Kathmandu on the 25th November uh, 2019, last year. So before I proceed further, I would like to extend a special thank you for especially Mr. Nasir Khan, our group CEO of Angkasa, for willingness to moderate this seminar. The panelists, Mr. Zaiwin Kasim from Malaysia, Miss Johanna Tainara from Indonesia, and Mr. Hassan Ahli Taku from Pakistan. Also, Mr. Maiden Rose and the team from International Unit of Angkasa, and Miss Simran, Officer in charge for ICI Committee Office in New Delhi. So, ladies and gentlemen, the theme of youth engagement through entrepreneurship was chosen as this seminar will focus on the issue of youth employment. This issue become a center of discussions and concern for most countries around the world. So according to the global employment trend for youth in 2019, in total there are 30 million young people are employed globally. So according to the index, there are 13.6% of youth are unemployed globally, and 14.1% in Asia Pacific, and in Malaysia, 11.26%. The COVID-19 pandemic has given a huge impact to youth employment. Even before the COVID-19 outbreak, young people face a tough labor market. According to the ILO report, prior to the outbreak, globally 178 million youth were employed in the sector hit hardest by the crisis, such as accommodation and food services, wholesale and retail trade, manufacturing, real estate, and other business activities. So the recent study on youth and COVID-19 found that 17.4% of young people stopped working since the onset of the crisis. So ladies and gentlemen, so many empirical studies and strategic papers show that entrepreneurship and innovation are priority areas for many countries to address and provide solutions to youth employment issue. One of the important of the entrepreneurship, it may change mindset and attributes of young people towards their careers. So we hope this seminar will give good exposure, information, and motivation to participants that can be used to improve your career and daily life. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, on behalf of the organizer, we are glad to bring our prominent entrepreneurial and young speakers to share their experience and views on how young people should engage in entrepreneurship. Once again, I would like to thank you all for your kind attendance. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Dr. Azlan. So we will now begin with the virtual talk session. To moderate this session, I would like to invite Mr. Nasir Khan Yahaya, the Group Chief Executive Officer of Angkasa. Please welcome Mr. Nasir Khan Yahaya.
Thank you, Madam Azlin. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm Nasir Khan, the CEO of Angkasa. Welcome to the virtual talk on youth engagement through entrepreneurship, co-organized by ICAAP Committee on Co-op in Educational Institution and Angkasa Malaysia. It is our honor to host this event in conjunction with the International Youth Day celebrated today, 12th of August. I'm glad to announce that initially we have about 70 participants registered to participate in this virtual talk or webinar. I do not know how many has come in, but I was told by Azlin there are now close to 40 people coming from all over Asia Pacific region. What will happen in this within now and another 1.5 hours to 2 hours is we are going to listen and share some thought from three distinguished speakers mentioned by Dr. Azlan just now. And they are all leaders and innovators in their respective communities and countries. Mr. Zaiwin Kasim, Chair of COBIS, this is the youth from Sarawak, Malaysia, and also a curator at TEDx Kenyalang, Malaysia. Ms. Yohana Tamara Yunisa, project manager from Keling Kumang Credit Union, Indonesia, and Mr. Alan Ali Takur, my good young friend. I feel good when I'm with him, feel young when I'm with him. Chair of ICAAP Youth Committee, is from Pakistan. Before I pass the floor to the distinguished speakers, let me share some fact with you. Quite a number have been mentioned by Dr. Azlan as chair of this committee. One is youth are actually key agent of socio-economic development and technological innovation in the Asia-Pacific region. We know that. But yet, according to the Global Employment Trend for Youth, GET Youth 2020, this is published in ILO News on March 9, 2020, the youth unemployment rate in Asia-Pacific region has risen since 2012 and is estimated at 14.1% in 2020 compared to only 13.7% globally. And prior to 2018, the youth unemployment rate in the region was below the global average. Growing youth unemployment threatens, of course, economic and political stability, and countries with high youth demographic profiles are even more at risk. And with the COVID-19 pandemic still looming, threatening the livelihood of people all around the world, the need for alternative means of job creation has become vital. and the new normal need to be embraced and acted upon. So with this as background, I will now call upon Mr. Zaiwin Kasim to share his thought and experience on empowerment and innovation among youth. But give me about 30 seconds to introduce who Mr. Zaiwin is. Zaiwin Kasim is an entrepreneur, innovator, and collaboration strategist. He is the chairman of Koperasi Belia Inovatif Sarawak Berhad, in short KOBIS, a state cooperative organization focusing on youth development in the area of innovation, skills, and entrepreneurship. He lives in Kuching, Malaysia. His business involves e-commerce trading, training, and consultancy. And he is also, as I mentioned earlier, the curator of the EDX Kenyalang since 2016. And for his contribution to the youth development in Sarawak and Malaysia as a whole, Mr. Zaiwin has been awarded with Anak Sarawak Award, Sarawak NGO Youth Award, Sarawak Youth Icon, and Malaysian Young Innovator, just to name a few. So Mr. Zaiwin, the floor is yours, and I think we can give you, unfortunately, only 15 minutes to share your thoughts and opinion. And the clock starts ticking now. The floor is yours. Please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nasir, Group CEO of Angkasa. Assalamualaikum, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or whatever it is where you are now. Okay, I'm really honored and really appreciate the opportunity being given by the organizer, Angkasa, and as well International Cooperative Alliance to share some thoughts in conjunction with the International Youth Day. Okay, I think this is really critical moment, interesting moment as well, what we are having now, which is COVID-19. Let me share a bit within this 15 minutes before, let's say, I start do the sharing. I like to share a bit the stories that not recently happened, but it happened during our Global Youth Forum. Back in February, early of this year, Angkasa and together with the International Co-op Alliance organized Global Youth Forum in Kuching. So I'd like to share with you a sharing or a thought that we discussed among the trainers during that program. So this is one representative from the France of cooperative. I really like the way he mentioned that confusion among the youth nowadays. Back in like 10 years back, 20 years back, most of our parents talking about be in the professional, be doctors, be lawyers, be whatnot, because that's the direction to have a good life in the end of the day. But along the way, until now, if you notice, within these past 10 years, that's not really a critical path to having a good life anymore. Because there's so many paths nowadays. There's so many channels for you to pursue your dreams or to pursue whatever that you like. Last time, if someone that's just pursuing or focus on their hobbies, might not can be a big names in the world or maybe at their place or making a good money. But nowadays, with the facilities, with the disruptive modern technology, there's so much possibility. So what currently happened is COVID-19. Actually, I like to see this as like a great reset. When now every single country in the world are facing this pandemic, these issues. So everybody's impacted. Either we are in Malaysia, either we are a Southeast Asia country, or around the world, all countries affected. So what less about the youth? The youth, by the way, the youth, I believe nowadays is considered the biggest population in terms of a global population. They are making about 60% overall for the global population. Of course, we have among the youth, we have the Z, what call it? The Gen Y, the ZY, the XY generation. So talking about the empowerment for this entrepreneurship, I really like to go back with this situation so that all of us here that together in this session can have a thought. What is the things that youth should focusing at, especially speaking on the engagement of entrepreneurship? Okay, before I, after this, surely I will share a slide so that we can go along the way, a quick one. But as well, my sharing today is more about to highlight the great values that the youth should focus at. Because with this disruption of this pandemic of COVID-19, a lot of people living in the confusion, a lot of people struggling, a lot of entrepreneurs, some are even closed down, some have lost business, even people who are working lost their jobs or whatnot. So in this situation, is we can say that of chaos, or maybe a situation that a lot of unclarity. So this is the moment where the youth should be very determined, very clear to identify what they want and go directly to what they're supposed to focus at. Okay, let me sharing with you the slide for what we're going to have today. Allow me to share screen. Okay, I think you guys can see the screen now. Okay, this guy, for those who are very familiar with the power or maybe for the energy or management, this is so-called a hero in the industry. He is the first person that earned a $1 million salary. It's happened in 1920s. It's also same like what we have facing now, which is crisis economy, Great Depression, where recession happening, economy is the downward. So this guy is emerged as one of the respected CEO with a salary of 1 million. So people are wondering, how can with this kind of economy, someone can hit this figure and going so good? So you know what? This is Charles Schwab. Here I'm sharing the thought here. The man who has done his best has done everything. The man who has done less than his best has done nothing. He is the person that very good at empowered people. So the key secret, why, when people ask, how can you earn $1 million salary? I mean, very top of the world at that time. What kind of trade, what kind of value that you have? So basically, Charles Schwab is very strong in empowering people. So if we, like a youth nowadays, you want to be entrepreneur, you thinking you want to be entrepreneur, or maybe you're already in entrepreneurship journeys now, you better check whether you have the capacity or the quality of empower others or not. So this is the first point that I really like to share you guys in a very quick way, is empowering. In the one of the aspect that I really like, the empowering is appreciation. It's very related with what we're facing nowadays in this COVID-19. A lot of people have problems, a lot of people struggle, a lot of people in the bad situation. So if we are already entrepreneurs, so this is the great moment where we can highlight, we can show appreciation. If we not yet entrepreneur, planning to be entrepreneur, especially among the youth, this is the skills that you need to cultivate. Because with the appreciation alone, you can give value, give a sheer great motivation for people down you or any other people. Throughout my experience, being years in being entrepreneurs, I believe that one of the great value or one of a great trait that entrepreneur must have is to empower people. Because with this situation, you imagine, like my experience alone, the past 3 months, we in the industry of training as well earlier, and also in the tourism, this is the most impacted industry. So what we are left, nothing much. So we also need to cut down the salary in the early stage, but we still need to motivate people. And I really can highlight to reassure here, a trait of appreciation people is really a great value. This is the things that what makes your staff, your people loyal, stick with you. So this is the things that I really like to encourage the youth nowadays to put a little bit attention, appreciation. And the next as well, within these few minutes that I left behind, I really like to highlight another trait or great value that we have to cultivate among the youth is innovation. Maybe nowadays there's so many terms in innovation, the Trees way, the Guy Kawasaki way, so many ways and style. But I like to highlight to you the way coming from someone that can say that the papa or the father of innovation, which is none other as Thomas Alva Edison. In Thomas Alva Edison words, innovation is as simple as there is always a better way. So this in the critical situation, we need to always think there is always a better way. There is always a better way. If we bring to the business, let's say you already run a business, for my fellow friends here, if you already having a business with the impact of this COVID-19, where a lot of business being shut down, being slow or being cut, being regulate or certain thing, you have to identify in which segment or which part of your business that you can enhance more, you can give extra values. Okay, so this is the two things that I really like to highlight in this morning or this throughout this session. One is empowering, one is innovation, because for the youth, sometimes they need a direction. They really need to a clear picture, because either before they start jump in an entrepreneurship, or maybe they already part in the entrepreneurship journey. But with the impact of COVID-19, some of them, you know, oh, this is too hard, this is too challenging, I cannot face it. Actually, entrepreneurship is the skills and the arts of science for you to keep giving values to people. If you have the understanding of innovation or the mindset of the innovation, you surely can see a lot more of opportunities. Coming back to the situation what we are facing now, which is in this COVID-19 or the pandemic situation, there's a lot of unclarity. There's a lot of problems here and there. So whenever there's problem, there are always a solution. So this is where the youngsters should jump in, should join in to give values to the market. So I can say that, and not only me, that a lot of entrepreneurs as well that really looking forward on this with whatever that happening now. We call it as a great reset, where the opportunity and the threat come in balanced way. Which one we want to focus? With the innovative mindset you carry, surely you always see a problem like a way for you to serve a solution. So I really like encourage, I really like to bring all the audience here, and as well, or from the, maybe among the moderator later on, we can coming back at these two things, which is empowerment and innovation. So always keep in mind that this is the moment where we should empowering others and innovating ourselves. There cannot be any other situation or moment or maybe year that having what we are having now. 2020 is really interesting year, and they're offering so much potential, and of course at the same time a threat as well. So that's why we need to participate, we need to involve, we need to go deeper with the opportunities and go along. So that's why among the youth, this is another way of how we can engage together. I really applaud with the organizer, especially Angkasa, for bringing all other, we call it and the friends, entrepreneurs from other countries. They get together here to share the knowledge and as well inspiration. I really hope that today we all of us, including myself, can learn something where we can give back in the end of the day as values for others. Okay, I think because I just been given 15 minutes, that's a really a quick sharing for me. But really looking forward during the moderator later on, we have a Q&A whatnot. For the time being, I believe that's because along the way, it's all about taking action. Thank you very much. I give back to Mr. Nasir.
Thank you, Mr. Zawin. Very encouraging. I noticed one thing. You mentioned all the three vital point there: appreciation, innovation, and empowering. As far as innovation and empowering is concerned, these are the three key elements. But I noticed my staff here, sometimes they don't like this, but I always like to see the details. I noticed that at your back, on your counter at the back, you have one notice board there.
Yes.
it's written, I can only see happy, brave, peace, believe, hope, energetic. And I think when you talk about empowerment, these are all the other strength or element that each entrepreneur, especially the young people, need to have. You have to be happy, you have to be really very brave, you have peace of mind, you must have belief and hope. And maybe when we come to the Q&A session later, maybe you can elaborate more on this. Because as you mentioned, we have quite a limited time. What I will do here is we will let the three presenters to present their thoughts and share their experiences. And later, maybe we will have about 45 minutes to 1 hour to engage. And up to now, actually, the organizer, we have received 9 questions already, which will be posted later in the Q&A session. But in the meantime, if any of our guests or participants who are already in this Zoom meeting, if you have anything to share, anything to ask to the presenter, please feel free to use the chat function in our Zoom meeting, and we will try as much as possible to entertain all those questions if time permit. So thank you again, Mr. Zawin. I think we shall now move to our second presenter, the young, I'm not sure available or not, but surely she's young, Johanna Tamara Yunisa. She is a project manager for cacao, or in Malaysia, we pronounce it as cocoa, maybe the same in Indonesia. Cocoa conservation at Keling Kumang Credit Union under Keling Kumang Group, or in short KKG. KKG is a social conglomeration of numbers of co-op, and she graduated with Bachelor of Commerce from Swinburne University, Sarawak, Malaysia. So she is partly Malaysian, I guess. And completed her master's degree in entrepreneurship from University of Liverpool, England. Recent activities include leading an agriculture project for cooperative members in West Borneo, Indonesia. In addition, she's also working with the National Federation of People-Based Enterprise Cooperative, INCUR Federation, as an international relationship staff. So I'm sure through her deliberation, Ms. Johanna will share more about herself and her experiences with us. Let us now hear from Ms. Johanna. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nasir Khan, Angkasa, and ICA that have given this opportunity to me. Good morning from Indonesia. So today I would like to present about job creation for young people. Today I would like to share my experience, what I have done so far. That is a relation together with a cooperative. And there are a lot of things that happen today, especially its relation to the COVID-19 that has been taking a lot of conversation about this, and also that impact to the economic and also social. So when we talk about entrepreneurship, we also talking about job creation about to a lot of people. What we have done so far for these 2 years since 2018, we create more jobs, and we trust also young people who work in cooperative to run the business, and also create more job for the members. And the key points that I would like to say at first before I share my experience, as a young people, if you want to create job, you have to focus more actually to what the needs, what the people needs as a solution, not to make yourself to be rich, but to be a solution for everyone that can create a sustained job creation. So this is my background that has been mentioned before. I studied for Master in Entrepreneurship. What I have done after graduate from my school, I want to implement what I have learned theoretical in my study to real sector, especially its relation between cooperative and the members. Because the goal of all job creation strategies is to stimulate healthy economic growth in the country. Economists agree that annual growth between 2% up to 3% is sustainable. This usually requires adding approximately 150% new jobs per month to employ new workers entering the labor force. This is the information that I have got recently. And then capitalism encourages small businesses to compete, thereby creating better ways to meet consumer needs. Because of this, small businesses account for 65% of all new jobs created. In the case of youth, young people represent around 1/5 of the world population, but half of the total unemployed global workforce. There is one quote as well from Abraham Lincoln state that the best way to predict your future is to create. Entrepreneurship is described as the act of creating something out of nothing that can be solution to the global challenge of youth unemployment and a significant source of much needed job creation. Therefore, your youth entrepreneurship plays a vital role for the economic growth and act as catalyst for job creation. But the truth is, despite general consensus on the need for youth entrepreneurship, young people do not actually consider setting up a new business as their first career solution after graduation. So still a lot of young people looking for more job rather than creating their job. And before I start, I want to introduce first my cooperative structure. We are Kelingkumang Group, that is a holding cooperative, and there are a lot of cooperative under Kelingkumang Group, and I have been assigned under Kelingkumang Credit Union, especially in the sector of cacao to help and improve the economic of the members, and as well as also taking care of the environment in our local community. And our cooperative has been established since 27 years ago with more than 183,000 members, but more than 70% cooperative members are farmers. That's why here, back in 2018, we found that we need a solution for this. How could we create something or a job that is more sustainable for our members, especially for the farmers, because there was a really serious critical problem here related to farmers where the main commodity is rubber and palm oil, but the both price are fluctuate and it's not really giving good income for our members. And this is the fact that the number of farmers keep decreasing 1.75% each year since 2013. The question why? The answer is because younger generation has no interest to agriculture sector. So start from 2018, we built this kind of real business sector that has been divided into three divisions, which is cacao nursery, cacao bean processing in agriculture sector. The reason is to encourage young people to come back to agriculture sector because there is an opportunity, especially if you want to create more job in this sector. And based on the number, this is what I can show you is for our staff that working in the cooperative, at least 80% of our staff are in millennial generation. And we have to cope with all this generation, the young people, how to handle both between staff and also members in terms of job creation. And another key point is what a member wants, what a member needs. And also we need to give trust and opportunity to the young people to run this real sector. So from the cooperative itself came with the idea of cacao as an alternative for the members, while on the other side, the young people who will run this real sector to serve our members. And the first project that we have is cacao conservation. That I have been mentioned to you before. It has been divided into three sectors, and this is the project team. Basically, we are all young people under 30 years old that has been run this project for 2 years. And the main The main point for business at first that we have to see is the business cycle concept. This is the concept that we have created 2 years ago because we want to be the bridge between the farmers to access the market, because always that become the problem among the farmers is they know how to produce the products or the raw materials like commodities, but they don't know how to access the market. Here, under the lead of young people, we want to be the bridge to connect between the market and also the farmers directly. And this is the three sectors that I have mentioned before. The picture on the left is our cacao nursery. The one at the top right is our agriculture tourism, and the last picture is our cacao bean processing. The other project that we help is self-help group and self-help individual. Before that, I would like to show you a video here.
Inspired by Dayak folktale, the name of Kelingkumang was
So,
chosen as the name
this
of
is
this credit
basically
union. The main purpose of
our
Kelingkumang Credit
cooperative.
Union to elevate the poverty independently in order to change the community's economy for a better life. The central office is being established for member services in Sintang Regency, which is the second largest regency in West Kalimantan. In 2019, Kelingkumang Credit Union has 177,870 members with assets of 1.4 trillion Indonesian rupiah. Kelingkumang Credit Union has a various of units that help the community activities such as self-help group and self-help individual. Self-Help Group is a member assistance program for group-based businesses. SHG is a development of financial capability to help members to develop knowledge gains in order to manage good finance by making a business in group, as well as a forum for members to create their own job in the hope of helping to improve the economy. Self-help individual, are commonly known as HHI, is a member assistance program for individual-based businesses. Just like SHG, HHI is also a development of financial capability to help members to develop the knowledge. By then, they can manage finance well by making businesses individually and as a forum for creating their own job with the hope of helping to improve members' economy.
As you can see in the video before, I already have mentioned the main purpose of the project that we have right now in the real sector is not only to trust our youngster to run the businesses under cooperative, but also to create more entrepreneurship inter of our members. So our long-term goals is we want to see our members to have more various of type of job, not only becoming farmers, but they also can learn and produce more high value products that can be sold with higher price. As you can see on the picture, this is our house food production that we provide for our members, and it's also has got the permit from the government. This is as a platform for our members if they want to have more business in the food processing. And this is other type of the products that the members have. So for the cooperative at itself has helped the members and guide the members to create more products that they can sell, like Kelulut honey, and we do have also Arasop and other type of rice that they produce locally. Once they already produce and once they have been guided by the cooperative as the bridge also to promote their products so it can be delivered directly to our consumer. And this is another product. Actually, this product has been created accidentally. We only selling raw beans material before to our market, but after the COVID, there are a lot of people needs like hand soap to keep hygienic. That's why we create this product chocolate hand soap to ensure that the members not only can sell the beans, but they also can produce other type of products. So this is what we are doing now, and we want to create more product for together with our members. And don't forget, if you want to be an entrepreneur and encourage more people to work in agriculture, especially young people, always involve technology. For the past, people always do agriculture in traditional system, but now under our project, we do everything with technology. For example, it is solar dryer for drying method. And we also introduce people and give knowledge more about cacao. This is our agriculture tourism. Remember, in entrepreneurship, there are three things that is really important. First is knowledge. You have to know about the knowledge first. We spend many years to learn about cacao. Second is networking. Networking is really important. Without networking, we couldn't be like today. With the help of a lot of stakeholders, start from private sector and also government. And third, money will follow us if you already have your knowledge and also your networking. This is some of the products that has been produced by our members. So basically, we really want them to be entrepreneurs, especially for the young, rather than only producing raw materials, commodities. And don't forget, cooperative is a quality control to ensure that all the product that has been produced by the members always has a good quality, so we can maintain for the price. So I would like to say that young people is the future. So let's do the work together, create more job creation, involve the youngster, so we can create more job for the better health economic in the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Johanna. Right on time. One thing to me, at least, is encouraging to see how co-op facilitate the economic activities of their members. Because we have came across in some other instances, the business is run by the co-op, for the co-op, and members only benefited from payment of dividend. But in your case, we see that the business of the co-ops actually facilitating the economic activities of the member, which is to us here and to some of us here is actually things that we should learn, because co-op is all about developing the people who are members of the cooperative economically and socially. So thank you very much. I think we'll come back to you again during the Q&A session. And without further ado, now I would like to introduce Mr. Hassan Ali Thakur. He will speak about post-pandemic challenges and opportunities. And I think Mr. Hassan need no introduction, as he has been working in youth development for more than 10 years. And as being the chairperson of ICA Asia Pacific Committee on Youth Cooperation. He has been involved with a multitude of projects to uplift the cooperative youth development in the region. He's a Pakistani. He has two master's degree in business administration and project management, and he has been working in co-op since 2007 as a representative with Karachi Cooperative Housing Societies Union. When I first met him, I think more than 10 years ago, he was still very, very young. And up to now, he's still very enthusiastic in joining and participating in the co-op movement. So we really appreciate that. And Mr. Hassan, without further ado, I'll pass the floor to you to share your thoughts and opinions on this issue. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Nasir, for introducing me, and with a very brief introduction, you just sum it up the complete picture of my profile. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everyone. First of all, before I begin my presentation, I just like to thank our earlier presenters for doing a fine job and providing that specific spark of energy in presenting. I hope I could maintain that energy as well, especially Miss Johanna, as she is from a chocolate industry, and I heard that the people who eat and produce chocolate are the most happiest and the most energetic ones. So thank you, presenters. So let's begin my presentation. So this is me. I'm SNE Thakur, the chairperson of the ICYC or ICAP Committee on Youth Cooperation, and the director and communication officer of Karachi Cooperative Housing Society Union. I'm from the cooperative housing sector in Pakistan. So the topic that I've been assigned to is COVID-19 challenges and opportunities for our youth, and I'm going to talk about it. So let me just give you a general brief out of what points are going to be discussed in this presentation. First of all, I'm going to talk about the basic information just to get the parameters set for the rest of the topics. Then I'm going to talk about the education, engagement, technology, entrepreneur and business, cooperative policies, climate action, and generational gaps. My favorite is cooperative policies and engagement. So I hope that would be helpful for everyone. And at the end, I'm going to conclude the whole discussion. So let's begin with the basic information about the Asia Pacific as a whole. The Asia Pacific is a huge continent that contains the largest population of youth in the world. That is approximately about 750 million are youth. And that is a huge number that we are living in. And therefore, its parameters and requirements are pretty different from other regions of the world, Africa, America, and Europe. So these are the few basic information about the Asian region. Is that the lockdown, how is it impacting us? There in some of the countries, as of this moment, there is a total lockdown. For instance, in Nepal, for example, in Nepal, I recently got reports that excuse me, the lockdown has been reimposed and people are supposed to follow it up due to increase in the cases. There are other reports in other countries that total lockdown has been practices in, and there has been certain partial practices. For instance, Indonesia, Malaysia, somewhat Malaysia, and Pakistan, Iran. Some of the countries are following the partial lockdowns in which a time has been imposed in which the duties have to be performed accordingly in that particular time. And some areas have lifted completely in terms of a lockdown, and new forms of living standards has been included. Educational institutions in lockdown, I should rephrase that. Educational institutions are closed in pandemic situations. They are starting to show signs in countries to reopen up, or at least start working on how to open it up. In Kenya, example, it is said that it has been decided that it's going to start its educational year from 2021. So most of the countries overall are, or all over the world are trying to cope up with the pandemic and start to practice those educational policies and implement it as soon as possible. But in Asia Pacific, they are showing signs of progressing and start to work on it and try to open it up as soon as possible. So people are opting for free online education these days because internet education is more popular as compared to the physical education due to the pandemic. And the one of the effects of this pandemic has created children and adults to miss out on young adults to miss out on a time of education that could be a crucial time to develop or increase in their knowledge and skills, but it is somewhat substituted in terms of online education. So unemployment and rate has been drastically increased, as commented by our previous speakers, as well as our moderators and Dr. Azlan. So that is a significant increase. It's a very general information. The one of this whole economic downturn downturn, other than the whole economic downturn in pandemic, is creating stress as well as the economic pressure for the community and country. So there is a psychological stress where people needs to be focused on losing of job, increased use of internet activities. These are all signs of dealing with stress situations. Now let's come to the main topic of the today, and this is just going to give you a general trend of what is happening in terms of education. So recently trend is online education, right? It seems that it has been a challenge to increase the network of the internet. So as you can see that Zoom platform has been used to educate the youth as much as possible, but it's not possible to provide it at a student that are in the rural areas, and that is quite a challenge. This challenge is can turn into a more economic businesses, and that could be an opportunity for you to provide the equipment or setting up equipment with the local government or mayor system, if it is applicable in the respected countries, to provide such tenders to start incorporating such things. So moving forward, due to the educational institutions being shut down, parents are frustrated for lack of education. So most of this report I got to talk to a member from Iran, and they were very accommodating in informing me about this issue, that parents are ill-equipped to teach exactly according to the requirements of the government to their children. So they are frustrated. Children are getting non-serious towards the education. So this can create an imbalance for the future generation to look the education, physical education, as a very serious source. So they need to adopt to the virtual education as quickly as possible. So there is a shift in paradigm due to the pandemic. Cooperatives providing scholarships. So how is cooperative basically supporting such things? So one of our AIM cooperative is stepping in to provide the members, the young members, to participate in activities, and also provide provides some scholarships for them to afford certain fee structures that cannot be done in the pandemic time. So they are providing such things. So that is a very good example in Philippines. Some countries are preparing for policy reviews and long-term strategies. So education institutions, not just on a ground level, needs to be worked on. They need to redefine the policies for the overall system to facilitate such institutions, and start inaugurating them or start working on the educational timelines. So one of the main issues of the educational institutions that is arising or has been reported is that the fee structure is still high, and it has not been decreased, even though these students are not using the premises to utilize the particular amount, particular equipment for their learning processes, which that the parents argue about it, and the education institutions are still working on how to accommodate that. These are all challenges that needs to be faced. Some of them have direct impact, and some of them have indirect impact. Each challenge is an opportunity, as our one of the speakers said, that the youth needs, when youth needs to seize a challenge, they need to jump in and take that challenge into and convert it into opportunity. So we need to work on that. Okay, so let's move to the engagement part. Replication project of ICA Global Youth Network. When we're talking about engagement, we're talking about engaging with youth in a manner that is helpful for cooperative growth as well. Replication project is somewhat introduced by the ICA to provide fundings to start a cooperative, and these sort of projects and seed planting is necessary to engage with you to start a cooperative or at least to encourage them. Through replication project, you can obtain approximately about 10,000 euros for one project, and there are certain criteria to be met. The final date of submission is 16th of August for the proposal. So if anyone is interested, this is a time to engage and start on planning your cooperative if you have any plans. Then we are moving to a cooperative as consultant. A lot of ground or seed SMEs cooperative are having a very hard time in moving from cooperative perspective. They have already started. I'm talking about SMEs that have at least 3 to 5 years of experience or more. Now they have the experience to start another cooperative, so they can come into a consultation format and try to start your cooperative or create a umbrella of cooperatives organization to support such SMEs on creating a much more engaging or creating a large number of networks. As we move forward in pandemic, we see that volunteerism has increased drastically, and cooperative can utilize cooperative in its principles and values has volunteers all over written on it. We have worked voluntarily to support our communities and on a best basis. So volunteerism is kind of giving a boost, or the pandemic is kind of giving a boost in terms of volunteerism to serve the communities as far and wide and possible. And youth are the best source to do it. ICYC has started a volunteer program in which right now the IYDs, they are working to promote, and we are trying to train them on how to work on an international level, and in return they are providing the time and space as much as possible or resources to assist us in any manner. So it's a two-way communication, two-way processes. It has a very positive impact on the community as well as on the cooperative, as it provides a social activity for a community to get involved and recognize that yes, cooperative is doing their part in sustaining the environment. Now, in COPs in Nepal are lobbying to get at least one youth representative on board of directors from the cooperatives. And this is kind of a very positive thing that Nepal is pushing to get at least one youth. By youth we are talking about whatever the definitions according to a country. In Nepal, the youth age criteria is 40, and they have their own definition for youth. So they want a 40 or less than 40 year of age person to be on board to provide fresh ideas, fresh innovative equipment, or get things on board while to cope with the pandemic. And that is a very good innovative and strategic engagement with the youth. Moving on, technology. So Mr. Liu from the UN Department of Economics said to improve the public service delivery increases people's engagement, enhances transparency, accountability and inclusion, and make life better. This is all done by the technology. So it has a very huge impact for us right now in pandemic. Now technology, when we're talking about technology, okay, so cooperative, I think I've missed certain information in it. So technology presence has helped to shape the education and business. As we all can see that it has, we have shifted our education system from physical to online. That is all due to and thanks to technology. Online human mobilization and trade has enhanced due to e-commerce and digital online trading systems. So trading has never been the same as before, and mobilizing people for volunteer work, for any other sort of things has been done due to technology. And due to technology, we are progressing and processing others. if you remember or recall, in the educational part, I talked about internet. The infrastructure of the internet is insufficient, and it's one of the challenges. In Kenya, they have introduced 4G balloons that provides signal boosting internet activity for everyone, and it is one of the amazing technology that Kenyans is using to provide rural areas with the internet service or get connected to it. This concept basically originated from South Americans flood issues where signals could not reach, and they use such technology to get in touch or assist people in certain environment where help cannot be reached, and people were saved due to this technology. So they implicated such things to provide accessibility, and this can be used by the cooperatives to align their work or trading or online education to get through such technologies. Now, due to the COVID-19, online interviews has been increased. Such innovations have saved cost, saved time, and save a lot of potential candidates to review in a very short time. So online interviews has drastically increased. People are trying to get on board, and people are searched accordingly. So it is saving cost for both of the interviewer and interviews. It is saving time for interview and interviews, and it is creating a positive use of technology to get things done as quickly and fast as possible. Okay, so moving to the next slide, business and entrepreneurship. Recently, a platform cooperative done by Mr. Trevor has introduced a platform cooperative course to...
Sasa, you have 5 more minutes, please.
Okay, thank you for the reminder. I'll try to end it quickly. So platform cooperative is introduced by Trevor, and it is one of the most leading information to provide everyone with the information on how to utilize online businesses in terms of cooperative values and the basis values and principle basis. Imagine an Amazon is completely controlled by cooperatives. That is what they are pitching in for. Now, COVID-19 is definitely increased the entrepreneurship. People are, due to the unemployment rate, people are shifting to their own businesses and start to manufacture, many work on their own self-employment through freelancing, through other production systems, and so on and so forth. From Indonesia and Kenya, I learned that local production has increased somehow in terms of manufacturing their masks for pandemic requirement. Ventilators in Kenya is created locally to assist people who are suffering from the pandemic situation. Local chocolates have been produced, as we have seen in the previous presentation. I like the soap idea through chocolates. You can eat and wash at the same time, I hope. Social activities and positive response is one of the key things that cooperative needs to consider, and it has been reported from Pakistan, Philippines, and Nepal, as well as other countries, that whenever Go Green activity or scholarship programs or getting people to organize in such things as is initiated, it has been a positive impact for people to join in cooperative or become a part as a member more than the regular businesses. So let's talk about cooperative policies. In Indonesia, I've recently heard that Ministry of Cooperative is either in process of creating an application for farmers, or it has implicated in it. So that would create the farmers from the cooperative or SMEs to connect online and sell their products the whole country, instead of going to just one place physically and then selling it out. So things are working out in the COVID-19 for cooperatives in terms of ministry. Government working with the cooperatives to provide relief for the co-ops in SMEs. So the members of the cooperatives and our SMEs are supported through subsidiaries. One of the things that needs to be highlighted, consideration of merger is considered. So I've talking to a lot of people, and they said SMEs are the most affected in the corp sectors, and merger can be one of those scapegoat, or creating a partnership with other cooperatives can be a workout in such issues. So Nepal is also working on members protection and institutional protection in the cooperatives. To members protection is all about how the stressful situation is, and institutional protection is all about how cooperatives can secure businesses for the future. Even UAE government and cooperatives are working for food security, in which they are regularly inspecting if there is any spoilers of the main food sources. So let's talk about climate action. Green jobs have been drastically created in the pandemic situation in Pakistan. The cooperatives, there are cooperatives that are hired to plant the trees, and Pakistan is one of the countries that has reached the SDG 13 goals before time. I like to report that due to the Go Green campaign, which was organized by ICYC from Kenya, it has been reported that they have got a project by the government of Kenya to restore a park. That is a wonderful news for us. And in Brazil, I've heard that people are starting an energy cooperative of solar power to support the community with a cheap amount, affordable energy. So there is a generational gap. Well, both do not understand each other. I'm talking about the young and old all together. They have their own issues, and they have their own experiences to share, which needs to be sat down and clarified. Each generation does things differently. That is a universal fact, and there is no way around it, but we need to accept that fact. So outdated process by experienced cooperatives, that is one of the issues that the cooperatives needs to face. And with the new youth ideas and methodologies, or bringing in new technologies, can increase the efficiency, efficacy, as well as effectiveness of the whole cooperative business and the processes that we are living in. But it takes time and patience to combine these two factors around. If that would happen, we would create a much more larger impact as we are having right now. So one of the main truths is that mainstream media has shifted. Before our time, newsletters and TV were the main source. Now the social media is the main thing. So concluding all of this discussion, what we have discussed, I would just like to say challenges are there, cooperatives are there, youth are there. We just need to fill out the gaps of how to address the requirements of our community in a specific time and specific place, to create a demographic and democratic manner of system that would assist in a better movement from general gig economy to a much more conducive economy for the future. Thank you so much for listening. I hope I didn't bore everyone, and it is a pleasure to be on this platform. Thank you, Mr. Nasser, and thank you, Dr. Azlan. I like to thank our organizers from Angasa and ICEI to having me on board. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Hassan, for the holistic overview of what should we do post-COVID-19. To me, we don't have to wait until the pandemic is over. We have to start revamping ourselves now, because change is inevitable. The new normal is inevitable. And I think the brick and mortar approach in doing business is no more applicable now in the near future also. And I'm glad that you put forward a very clear point that we in Malaysia now is actually promoting this quite strongly, that we need a new kind of cooperative, because when people talk about venturing into business entrepreneurship, always the first thing that come forward is startup. Individual having a good idea, forming business, being financed by crowdfunding or angel investor. Seldom we hear about forming up cooperative as a startup. So maybe when you say about engaging just now, your second point, we should engage more youth instead of forming a company, whether you come together, form co-op as startup, and take advantage of the crowdfunding among yourself. So thank you again, Mr. Hassan. And I think we now come to the last session of this webinar. As I mentioned earlier, we have received 9 questions so far. So maybe we can go through this quickly, and I'm not putting this forward to any of the speaker directly, but you can choose to answer this if you think it is related to your expertise or you have opinion on this. Maybe we should start the question from Miss Bilda Wong, I guess. Can you show on the screen, please? Bilda Wong, Public Service Department. She did not mention where she comes from, but I think somewhere in Asia Pacific, of course. And the question is, what are the benefits of a co-op and how we stand out from the rest? So any of the panel, or maybe the ICA Youth Committee should start first, responding to this question.
So thank you. It's always nice and glad to hear that we are still the youth. Woohoo. And answering to the questions, what are the benefits of the co-ops and how we stand out from the rest of the others. First, let's clarify the what is the difference between general or the traditional businesses and the cooperative businesses. We are, first of all, cooperative is a business, clear and cut. But our first priority is the people, and second priority is our profits. That is a cooperative. How do we differentiate the cooperatives from others is it also defines what are the benefits of it. If you see a capitalistic business, someone else is investing, someone else is getting the benefit, and the third person is getting the product. So everyone is separate, everyone has their own. But in cooperatives, members are investing, members are earning from it, and members are the people who are getting benefit out of it. So this is a closed loop in which the community gets the best out of these things. When we stand out from the rest is that we are giving the community back the rights. It's not one person or one small group of people are keeping the money in their pockets. It's about distributing the wealth in the economy or in the defined community that is defined by the cooperative bylaws. So that is one of the best benefit that I could answer you at this particular moment.
Thank you, Hassan. Miss Johanna, coming from the ground, you are with the people always. Anything you want to add to this?
Yeah.
Because you are credit union.
Yeah, from my point of view is the same like Hassan, because the main focus of the cooperative is the members. Even though like credit union, actually we serve for financial institution, but still, again, whatever that profit that we have by in the end of the year, we will give it back to the members. It could be in different type of form. For example, like what we have done, we have the Cacao Conservation Project. We do have HHG and self-help individual project as well. Of course, for those project needs money for daily operational. How we can gain all those money to run this project? Everything it comes from all the profit that we have, so we return back to members. That's why we can help them to to access for the market and producing all the products. Everything comes from cooperative. So we don't burden the members with all the costs that they need to start their own business.
Thank you, Johanna and Ms. Belda Wang. I hope, or we hope you are satisfied with the clarification from our panelists.
Sorry, Mr.
Yes,
Nasir.
Mr. Thakur, you want to add some more?
Yes, I just like to add one thing I missed in the presentation as well. Globally or in Asian Pacific, whatever cooperative organizations that I've been talking to reported one common thing about the cooperatives. Even in this pandemic times, no one except for a very rare cases has reported that people have been laid off in cooperatives. It provides a job security that no capitalistic business can do or manage at all. So cooperative gives the one of the best reason to start is that it provides a job security better than a capitalistic business. Thank you so much for, sorry for the interruption.
Thank you. Second question, please. Okay, this is from Ms. Charis Kariaga from FPSDC, the Philippines. What are the best advice that you can give to youth now that they cannot go outside their houses? Very basic question, but I think we need a very innovative answer. Maybe Mr. Zaimin, if you can't go out of your house, what can you do?
Okay, thank you very much. I really love to answer this question. Okay, for Charis Kariaga, I think that's a very general question that a lot of youth ask nowadays. First thing first, keep in your mind that this happens to almost everyone. So it's a fair game. Most everyone of us stick at home, find something to do. So the first thing that you need to invest on, actually focus, is invest on your mindset. Because this is the opportunity where you have a time where you will need to dig deeper on the learning. Nowadays, there's a plenty of learning opportunities in, we call it online. There's a lot of online courses give a free subscription. They give free online academy. So this is great opportunity. Okay. Other than that, for all of the youth out there, first thing first as well, please to be in the good state of your being, which is that you need to have what I call it, understanding with the situation. Try to control in terms of your what I call it, nerve, stress or whatnot. In fact, nowadays YouTube can be your great resource that can solve a lot of problems. Like me myself, as an organizer of TEDx, I love to watch TEDx videos, hundreds of TEDx videos, throughout the years. So when you've been stay at house, hoping that you're having a good line or whatsoever, internet or what, no issue. So this is where you can shoot, you can invest your time. Maybe one TEDx video a day. And this is where the moment as well you have to identify your strength or whatnot. My key point is try to take this advantage. This advantage is to invest on learning to upgrade your mind. Thank you very much. Mr. Nasir, if you don't mind, can I just highlight a bit about the point of how to be outstanding if you are setting up a cooperative?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to share, this is what we do at our cooperative. I do a slide share here. If you don't mind, allow me to slide share a quick one. Just I want to share with you our cooperative here. Okay, if you notice on the slide, this is our cooperative. So anyone out there, either you are a cooperative member or a general member, try to contribute values as well. Even in this lockdown situation or maybe pandemic situation, you can identify the cooperative that nearby your area, try to participate, try to identify what kind of value that you can give to them. Because most of the cooperatives around the world, they have their own identity. Like us, our identities is giving values to the youth through innovative or creative thinking. We have the tagline, we innovate the interesting. So we balance for the business side and also social side. So this is the moment people out there, I mean the youth, you can start, be nice or be close with the cooperative nearby. Contact them, outreach them, and try to give values to them. So somehow, surely you can develop yourself through the cooperative platform. Just sharing a bit on our slide here, that you can see that how we stand out on the certain thing, we focus on the youth and also innovative. That's how we stand out among the others. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zawin. Anything to add from other two panelists?
I just like to say that that is a very common and natural question coming from the COVID-19 situation arising. I just like to add two things. As Zavin already mentioned, education is one of the best things to do. Secondly, I do like to point out one thing. People are, when people are maintaining social distance, it does not encourage, no one is encouraging to maintain an emotional distance. By emotional distance, what I mean are people are cutting off connections with others. You need to keep in touch with others to keep a healthy psychological state of mind and keep yourself in a very good loop. Talk to your friends, colleagues, your neighbors through mobile, through internet, through some means that would not engage in social or maintaining social distancing. So these 2 points I would try to encourage everyone.
Okay, thank you. We still have another half an hour. I would like now to go to the third question. This time is from Ong Lee Chi Dennis from SNCF Singapore. The question is, while ideas and execution are important to running a business, how do you prioritize and foster sustainable business and growth? Maybe Joanna would like to start to respond to this first.
Okay, thank you so much. For this question, just like I have mentioned during my presentation before, if you want to have a sustainable business and growth, you have to find an idea that could be a solution for everyone. Because if your main priority to create idea is to be rich, there is no guarantee that it's gonna be a sustainable business. But if you create a business that could be a solution for everyone, I could guarantee that it's gonna be a sustainable business for you and also for everyone. Just like what we are doing right now. It's been 2 years and it's everyone needs and wants here in our local community. So you have to find what is the main problem in your community and find the solution, create the business from that idea. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we should refer also to the SDG document in relation to sustainability and participation of youth in this aspect. Can we go to the fourth question? If the other two panelists, you have no addition to this? Okay, the fourth question is from Hazel and Lenida from NATCO Philippines. What could be the best way to promote entrepreneurship to youth? Maybe again, Mr. Zawin.
Okay. I'd like to.
This is your area.
Okay, I like to tackle this question. I mean, sharing this idea, the way of how we all, especially among the youth, even the organizer as well, the organization, like to understand the youth. I mean, the Gen Y or the Gen Z that we have nowadays. One of few things that we know about the youth nowadays, actually, the TikTok generation, social media generation, everything at their fingertips. They want everything fast. They want the result is fast. So we understand that kind of their culture or the way they bring up themselves first. The second point as well, we have to know that the youth is always with a fire of energy. They always have lots of ideas. They always have exciting things to do things and to achieve things. So this is where we, the organizer, cooperative, should tackle them, should bring them in to join the entrepreneurship by tackle at their dreams. they want a lot. They want to achieve a lot in their life nowadays, because with the exposure of the social media, with the exposure of the news, many youngsters are dreamers as well. So this is the situation that we can highlight what the entrepreneurship can give to them. It's actually one of it is the mindset, the dexterity for achieving things. Because let's say I like to do this among the in Sarawak program as well. When we do a program with the youngsters, with the school kids, we like to share with them the different in doing things through the mindsets. So we like to engage with the audience, which is among the youth, what they want in life. Some of them, you know, they want to be some of the professional segment like engineers or whatnot. That's a certain thing. But for them, some of them, they're really inspired to be any other such of great things that things like nowadays you notice there's a lot of examples through movies or whatnot. So we values to them the way for them to achieve things. If they grow through the entrepreneurship journey, it's about cultivating the mindset of giving values. Of course, sometimes we also highlight the key things that easy to attract them, like money and famous, because nowadays youngsters is very attracted with this key thing, rich, famous or whatnot. So there's a lot of models out there. There's a lot of the people out there as an example and role model. We can say about the startup or the key players or the founders that already hit or make big names. So this is where how we engage with the youngsters to play, not to play, but to stimulate their dreams. So we believe that we get a lot of excitement among the youngsters to be the entrepreneurs. But the challenge is the road of entrepreneurship not is always easy, or maybe not is always in the sunshine. Sometimes there's a challenge or whatnot. So from our experience, the bad experience from the youngsters that sharing the challenge or whatnot might kill their courage and their anticipation to be entrepreneurship. So that's why we like to encourage the youngsters to promote the entrepreneurship to the youngsters in the holistic way. Not only the best side like money, or also you can be rich, you can achieve all the things that you want in life, but also being entrepreneurs actually in the end of the day to teach you to be a people that create values. Like say, I just take advantage here to share an example, maybe among audience here is also cooperative organizer, maybe you also an NGO that dealing with promoting entrepreneurship among the youth. So this is the thing that people nowadays, youngsters nowadays are very smart as well. They are not easily buy the ideas about all the monies and rich and famous or whatnot. So sometimes they need to go deeper as well. What the value that they get in themselves if they choose a certain criteria. So we like to go the approach of go deeper. If you have opportunities or maybe in the position that organize a program that you have the opportunity to interact with the youth, I really like to suggest for you to go deeper, because you never know the impact that when you go deeper with them is really powerful and really impactful. My point here is like last time we bring like entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs in Sarawak, they're already making the billions, like say Datuk Karim, to do some sharing. So the sharing throughout those youngsters, this is a great role model. And the way he's sharing, not only about the success, the rich, whatever that he had, but how powerful or how meaningful the journey are, how he can help others, how he can give values. So this is more attached with the hearts of the youngsters. I noticed that. Because if you sell the ideas that you're being rich or being a popular or you can achieve all those kind of things, sometimes when they see the struggles, they're not really sincere with their dreams. So here, if you have the opportunity to promote the entrepreneurship among the youth, please make an effort to go deeper. You never know, an inspiration or maybe your sharing that go deeper in their heart, like sharing the reason why you want to be entrepreneur is really make a difference. You might be the person that can inspire an individual to pursue the journey of entrepreneurship. Because in promoting entrepreneurship, I believe from our experience, it cannot be like just agenda like promote, like come on, be entrepreneurs or whatnot. Somehow, as a added value, as a whole addition program, yes. But if you really sincere, but if you really want impact, if you really want to build a generation or the youth that really be a powerful or impactful entrepreneurs, you have to make an effort to go deeper with them, to talk with them, to touch their hearts. Because when they're understanding the power of entrepreneur that create values and offer values along the way, that will be remarkable. They will pursue more genuinely, no matter how difficult or how challenging the journey is. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. But one fundamental question here, because we always came across two schools of thought, whether entrepreneurship skill can be learned or you are born with it.
Okay. Let's say for me personally, everyone can be entrepreneur if they put the heart on the direction what they want. Because for me personally, what is entrepreneur? Entrepreneur is the person who gives values to the market. There's a demand, there's a need. Nowadays, like so, impact of COVID-19, a lot of problems. So if you are an individual, you believe that you can give values to the market, to solution to the people, so you already in journey of being entrepreneur. Along the way, please guide yourself, learn more. So everybody can be guided, can be groomed to be entrepreneurs. It's not like you man or born to be entrepreneurs. That from personally for me.
Thank you. Loud and clear, Ms. Hazel. I hope this answer your question. Can we move now to the fifth question? We have another 20 more minutes. Nadia from Malaysia. When it comes to future employment in the co-op sector, what should you expect 3 years from now? Wow. Please, anyone from the 3 years from now? By then, I think COVID-19 is already over. We are in post-COVID situation.
I can give a glimpse with the present statistics and the information that I've received. So, well, first of all, this is just a general prediction from the current events that is happening. From 3 years and now, you can imagine a huge change in terms of using technologies. For instance, the place in the cooperative where books and manual handwritten documentation has been done is going to be shifted completely into a digital recordation and so on and so forth. For the youth, it's going to be the same thing, that we are not supposed to only work on the social media and type in on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on and so forth. We are going to be implementing these things in our cooperative businesses and making sure that whatever businesses needs to be moved to the digital age is going to be done in the next 3 years. So the 3 years education is going to change drastically. The methods that we were used or taught or received previously is going to also change. So our thinking pattern, I believe, it's my opinion that the thinking pattern of doing a cooperative work or through the youth is going to completely change in those in the coming 3 years.
Thank you. Question 6, please. I'm rushing here because we are running out of time. Again, from Malaysia, Norlela, creating youth employment opportunities through entrepreneurship is not necessarily a good indicator of providing decent work with salary or benefit stability. So the question is, how cooperative can contribute in providing job security and stability for young people? Again, a very fundamental question, common question. Anyone?
I can speak about it, but I would like permission from the other speakers if it is okay. Okay. So when we are talking about creating opportunities or providing job securities and stability for the young people, I already mentioned in my presentation that one, cooperative is the most secure platform to secure or provide job security for its members or its employees as compared to anywhere. It has been proven in this pandemic, and state any cooperative, the only side down is that all businesses are affected. They have lost profits as compared to that's a different matter. But the employment are or the firing rate of the cooperative is negligible as compared to the capitalistic. People are fired on a massive or laid off on a massive scales in the communities or countries, except for a few countries that reacted to it. Turkey is one of them. They protected the unemployment rate by imposing the government imposed a law that no one should be fired, and that created some downturns and upturns, but that is one exceptional case. But the rest, cooperative is the secure most jobs. Secondly, when you're talking about stability, imagine you have a secure job. What else do you want? You are getting a general consecutive income through your cooperative by working through it. That means you wouldn't have issues of providing food to your family, food or pay the rent of your house or pay the general bills in some amount or the other. So that is the most stability through the cooperatives. We are doing that, and cooperative is proving at day in and day out each day. Either it is for a refugee purposes cooperative, either it's a pandemic issue cooperative, or it is anything. Cooperative is established to assist anyone in need, and indeed to create not just a bridge, but to create a platform to secure the unidentified or marginalized people in the community.
Thank you, Mr. Hassan. The next question is from Rovena Yazini, Stella Maris College from India. I think Johanna should take this question. How the thrift can be encouraged through co-op in colleges? Because you are coming from credit co-op. Please, Johanna.
Thank you so much for this one. For this one, if we speak about education, actually we supposed to insert some modules about cooperatives in college, so they will know more about cooperative. Because what we have experienced here in Indonesia, actually youngster, most of them, they don't know about cooperative. So to promote more cooperative, it's really important to insert all the modules in college, so more knowledge, to more information about cooperatives, so to enhance the awareness, so there will be more youngsters to join with the cooperative.
Dr. Azlan, I give a exception here. If you are still here, being a chairman of a university cooperative, can you respond to this also? Dr. Azlan?
Yeah.
Any
So, yeah. Okay, thank you for the question. So I think the through cooperative in college, this is my experience in Malaysia. So normally in colleges or university, so we have two type of cooperative. One is for student cooperative, and another one is for the staff cooperative. And these two cooperative, they move separately. But actually, I think the cooperative, especially in college, can play a very important role to encourage, for example, entrepreneurship among among students and also the staff cooperative. So, for example, we can provide the facilities or place for the members, for the students to run business through cooperative. For example, when I was in the university, so the cooperative, student cooperative, we negotiate with the university management to give opportunity for the cooperative to run the business places in can you hear me, in the university, and we give to the members to run this cooperative. So I think cooperative in college can play the significant and important role for this matter. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, doctor. My answer: don't buy handphone, don't buy big bikes, don't buy big cars. Okay, Rovena.
Mr. Nasir,
Yes.
I'd like to add on this thing. By the way, say a casual way. Actually, cooperative is the best way you should learn to be thrifty or maybe a financial management alert. Because of why? Cooperative is not your money. It's not your dad's money. It's not your parents' money, but it's collective people money where you are being responsible to use it. So I think that was the best or beautiful place to learn about thrift or financial management through cooperative. That's
Yes,
just
yes. Absolutely right. Okay, we can go now to the last two questions from Mr. Iqbal Rosli, Islamic International University of Malaysia. What are the challenges to empower today's youth in this industry? I think co-op industry, I guess, the question. What are the challenges? Mr. Takur or Mr. Hassan?
Okay, so challenges to empower today's youth in this industry. In which industry? Is it talking about the corporate or is it talking about some sector?
Co-op industry, yes.
Okay, so first of all, Zavian mentioned one good point that youth are running after the glamorous life, the getting a quick cash, and so on and so forth. When we're talking about youth, the cooperative is having a hard time to provide them a glimpse of how charming the cooperative life is and how beneficial it is for its community while working together. So cooperative does not give a charming first impression, but as you understand or think about it, it creates much more beneficial. So the first challenge is communicating with the youth on their level. So if some like if 10 years from now someone told me you should join cooperative, and I was wondering why would I join it, what's so good about it, and I was a student of BBA, businesses and administration, so I've been taught the capitalistic way. There is no way or no how, if my education is totally on capitalistic background and someone would tell me that cooperative is the best thing for me, we wouldn't have any information on shifting to the cooperative. But I did. I found out, I educated myself, I became a much more leader in terms of youth cooperative. Therefore things got in. So the first point is communication, second point is education, and the third point that I want you to understand, it's a quite difficult concept as of for me to explain in a short time, is that when you give the financial aspects, cooperative has a very complex structure in terms of finances, but a very stable structure. It cannot unfortunately I'm not a good model in explaining the financial part for the cooperative, but when you look at carefully, cooperative is providing you a much longer term of income as compared to a capitalistic approach. much safer and stable income. So the third challenge is providing them the clear vision of where the cooperative is going to lead you in next 5 to 10 years instead of just 1 year or next. So that's my answer.
Mr. Nasir,
Yes,
can
Mr.
I
Jami.
answer this through our experience? Through our experience, like promoting to the youth to join cooperative and as well to get involved in cooperative, I can say that one challenge that really critical or that being the most critical challenge that we always receive is the youth do not want to share. Because in cooperative, you need to share the strategy, the business, the profit. So the youngsters nowadays, they like to do their own way. They want to achieve profit by their own way. They want to control everything. So even though some of them, they know that it's very difficult to them to run it by themselves, but they rather to choose to do their own way rather than sharing with the cooperative or not. So I think this is the challenge that we always see among the youth because they don't like or maybe they don't understand the beauty of sharing. That's all.
Mr. Nasir,
Yes, Dr. Azlan.
can I add some in this topics, the challenges to empower youth into the cooperative. So, for example, Mr. Hassan, in his slide, and another issue is generational gap. Between now, I take an example in Malaysia. Normally, most of the board cooperative leaders are from the old generation. So it's hard to the youth to join this old talk to run the cooperative. So we have to start. This is I think we must involve also the policy of the government to encourage the youth to set up the cooperative. So as Mr. Nasir said before, the issue in the cooperative, so we cannot see the cooperative as a business startup for the youth. So maybe because for example in Malaysia, to set up a cooperative is quite difficult, and we need at least 50 members. So maybe the policy must change, make it more easier for the youth. Maybe 5 to 10 people can set up already a cooperative and start up the business. And the policy for government to support. Now, the government only focus on the SME, not the cooperative. So government must focus also to the cooperative to give, I think, financial support and the facilities to the cooperative. And through cooperative, I think the business is more on the longer lasting because this is not the individual money, and we don't go on the capitalism approach. We go on the social economic approach. I think both the structures, the policy must be focused on the cooperative, and then I think the youth have an interest to join the cooperative. Okay.
Thank you, Doctor. We started at 12:15, right? But I promise we need to finish by 2. But we still have one last question. And I'm very overwhelmed that many are still in this meeting. Almost 60 people are still listening. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us. We are about to finish our discussion, but let me go to the last question from Christina V. Carano from PFCCO Philippines. What can we do as youth for us to be productive at the same time helping the environment? Productive, but at the same time save the environment. Please, maybe Johanna first, because you have a very big project in Kakao.
Yeah, I would like to answer this. As has been mentioned by Mr. Nasir Khan before, it's referring to SDG because economic and environment are two things that we cannot separate. When you want to improve your economic, you have to consider the environment and vice versa. So if for the youth, if you want to be productive, especially in the cooperative, and you have a project, you have to consider about the environment as well. I give you a simple example, like what we have for our agriculture tourism. So for our agriculture tourism, actually the main purpose is to promote about cacao. That is for the alternative income for our farmers. So basically it's for economic. But at the same time, when we promote our agriculture tourism for cacao, we also consider from the environmental side. So we don't use any plastic at all in our agriculture tourism. If you could see the picture itself, even from our cafeteria that we have for the roof, we use leaf and whatever reusable things that we can use in our project. So, and also for example, another example for our agriculture side, so far for rubber and palm oil, they have planned in monoculture side to earn more money. But in case of cacao, we already promote to do intercropped method. So to ensure that there is no illegal logging anymore, and we promote something that is more environmental to our economic and also to our members. Thank you.
Thank you, Johanna. I think it is now 2 p.m. We should stop here as promised. I think we can do this again. This is a very encouraging and we hope fruitful engagement between the speakers and also the audience. We at ICA AP on Education Institution and Angkasa sincerely hope that our audience has benefited from this webinar of virtual talk. We hope we can meet again online in a very near future. And on behalf of Angkasa, we are very sorry if there are any shortcomings in arranging this event. 2 short closing notes from me. First, for those who joined late, recorded video will be uploaded or shared on Angkasa and ICA AP YouTube channel as well as a Facebook page. And for e-certificate, whoever needs it, you can go to the link provided on the chat function. So I think with that, we say goodbye now.